Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos from Huntington, West Virginia. It is a beautiful late afternoon. There were some clouds this afternoon, but it didn't rain, and there was a nice breeze. I went down by the river today and sat there for a little while, and it was very, very nice. And today is the 19th of June, also known as Juneteenth, and I actually found out something that I didn't know about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is the day in 1865, June 19th, 1865, when the enslaved people of Texas learned that they were free. And that's where we get Juneteenth. Of course, you know, Abraham Lincoln read the Emancipation Proclamation several years earlier, but by the time the news got to Texas, which was the southernmost and I guess westernmost of the Confederate States, it was 1865, June 19th, when the enslaved people finally learned that they were free. Since 1980 in Texas, it's been a state holiday. And the last 2 weeks, Twitter, Nike, Target, and the National Football League, the NFL, declared Juneteenth a paid company holiday. And all but 3 states have declared some sort of observance on Juneteenth, whether it's an official day off or there's an official proclamation, something. And the only 3 states that as of now don't have something for Juneteenth, believe it or not, Hawaii, North Dakota, and South Dakota. The other states have, and I know that in New York and in Pennsylvania, they're working to making it declared a state holiday or a holiday for state workers. So there you have it. That's today, Juneteenth, 1865. The last slave state got the news that the slaves were free. All right, we're going to begin our Shabbos this evening on page 2 with the blessings over the candle. And we have my tech guru this evening is Sam, and so he's going to lead us in the lighting of the candles.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahalit ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. All right, we'll continue with a responsive reading on page 6. A responsive reading on page 6. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
All right, we are on page 20, Lecha Dodi, and this evening we're going to sing verses 1, 2, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 8, and 9. The first 2 and the last 2. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila, lecha dodi likrat chala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila, lecha dodi likrat chala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, yamin u'smol tifrotzi, v'et Adonai ta'aritzi, al yahadish ben partzi, v'nismecha v'nagila, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela, boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'tola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Let's turn to page 22 near the bottom, and let's read together a psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. And the indented at the Hebrew, Tzadika tamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon yiske, shetuli b'veit Adonai, b'chatzrot Eloheinu, Yafrichu, O Jenuvun Beseva, Deshenim Vera'ananim, Yihiyu Lehagid, Ki Ashar Adonai, Tzuri velo avlatabo. Page 24, we'll welcome the angels that come to spend Shabbat with us. According to the Kabbalists, 2 angels come to be with us on Shabbat because everything on Shabbat is doubled. We eat 2 halot, we eat 2 halas. In the desert, the Israelites were allowed to gather up a double portion of the manna, of the man, for Shabbat. And according to a number of mystics, we get an extra soul on Shabbat, neshama yetera, an additional soul that comes to be with us just on Shabbat. So page 24, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharek, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're going to begin Arvit l'Shabbat, the evening first service for Shabbat, beginning on page 145 with Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach cherutei v'yamlik malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bahagala, uvizman kariv, v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach, leolam lo me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Dekudisha Brichu Leila Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Damiran B'Alma V'Yimeru Amen. We continue page 146, the Baruch Hu, the call to formal evening worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. And let's continue reading together on page 147. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And the top of page 148, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam,
Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Alkein Adonai Eloheinu b'tznuteinu, uvkumeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hein chayeinu. Ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha tasir, mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 149, Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Page 150. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam liot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkaruhu v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. On page 151, in the middle, let's read responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
We grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event. So we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of page 152, Mi Chamocha.
Mi kamocha banim Adonai,
Mi Chamocha Bayam HaKodesh. No ratilo, o sefele. No ratilo, o sefele.
Yabba bim bim bum, yabba bim bum, yabba bim bim bum, yabba bim bum. Ay 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 ay, bim bum bim bum. Ay 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 ay, bim bum bim bum.
Malachutecha rahuvanecha bokeh yom lifnei Moshe. Zeli mi'ayli anu ve'amru Adonai lo le'olam va'ed.
Yabba bim bim bum, yabba bim bum, yabba bim bim bum, yabba bim bum. Ay 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 ay, bim bum bim bum. Ay 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 ay, bim bum bim bum.
V'ne'emar ki far Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo mi'achazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael. Top of page 153, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Let's read together on the bottom of page 153. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, el kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 154, Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We're on page 155. We're going to begin the Amidah, the Tefillah, the central prayer of the evening service. We'll chant 156 and 157 together, and then silently through the end on 167. So we'll begin together on page 155. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ahel Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Imahot, U'metiv B'nei B'neihem, L'man Shemo V'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor D'Olam Adonai, V'chayei Metim atah Rav Lahoshia, Modri Hatah, Mechakel Chaim V'chesed, Mechaye Meitim Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim. Umatir Asurim. Umechaye Emunato. Lishene Afar. Michamocha Bal Yevorot. Umidol Melech. Melech Mimit Umechayeh. Umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata l'chayov metim. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim. We're on page 160. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 161, Ritzeh.
Ritzeh, Ritzeh, Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatav be'havatecha u'tehila ratzon tamid u'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai Shaltacha l'chavotecha v'yira'avo Shaltacha l'chavotecha
Let's turn to page 163 and let's read responsively at the top of the page. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hopes of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
Page 164, we join together. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav,
Yisrael Hamcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Hamcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Hamcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Hamcha, Tasim Leolam. Betov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Hamcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Hamcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Let's read responsively in the middle of page 164. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us all the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes.
strengthen the bond of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of the world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart.
Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. In the middle of page 167, Yehiyu l'ratzon.
Yehiyu l'ratzon, emrefi, le'edon libi, lefanecha. Adonai Zuri, Adonai Zuri, Veko Ali,
We jump ahead to page 253, the Mishaberach, the prayer for those who are ill. If you have someone who needs special healing this Shabbat, please keep them in your thoughts and close to your hearts. The middle of page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'avotenu Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Top of page 258, we'll continue with the prayer for our congregation, followed by a prayer for our country, and the prayer for Israel. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us, love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha biyira na'avod. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. Page 259. Avinu Shabbat Tzur Yisrael v'Go'alo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Gulatenu, Hagen Aleha Bi'avrat Chastecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'Amitcha L'Rosheha Sareha V'Yoetzeha, B'Takneim B'Eitzah Tova Milfanecha, V'Natata Sholom Ba'aretz, B'Simchat Olam Liyoshveha, V'Nomar Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shielded beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and the fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. All right, friends, it is Shabbat, Parashat Shlach Lecha, and that's the first two major words out of this week's Torah portion, Shlach Lecha, and it's God commanding Moses to, or God saying that it's okay for Moses to send the spies to check out the land of Canaan, the land of Canaan. And so that is the big story in this week's Torah portion, the story of the spies. And it's basically a story of trust. God doesn't command that the spies be sent. Rather, the people want this. And so God says, go ahead. If you don't trust me when I say I will lead you into the land and you will conquer it, send the spies. And so Moses sends 12 spies. 12 go out, one from each of the tribes. And 10 come back with a bit of a mixed review of the land. They say it's a good land. There's a lot of fruit, and it's a land of milk and honey, and it's very fertile. But it's also well defended. And the spies come back and say that the people who are defending the land look like they're giants, and that the Israelites must look like grasshoppers to them. Joshua and Caleb, they come back with a different story. They say, yes, it looks like it might be that there might be these giants there, or they don't even call them giants, but they say, trust in God. The land is good and everything will work out. Well, as you know, the children of Israel cry out, and they they bring about a familiar refrain. If only we had died in Egypt, it would have been better for us to die along the way than it would be for us to go into the land only to be slaughtered. And the people cry out, and there's a beautiful midrash that says, God looks down at them and says, you want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about. And God says, you are going to be punished for not believing in me. You're going to be punished for not trusting Moses. You're going to be punished for not listening to Joshua and Caleb. And you are going to have to wander the desert for 40 more years until the generation that was born in Egypt dies out. You will not enter into the land. So that's the first part of the Torah reading. Then we have a bit on the sacrifices. Again, with sacrifices for those who unintentionally sin. Right? You do something you didn't know it was wrong. It wasn't your intention to do it, but you sinned, so you have to take a sacrifice. And again, we have this command to take care of the stranger and the ger. And then it's the same ritual and rule as Bnei Yisrael. You can't discriminate against the resident alien. And we get a story about a man gathering wood on Shabbat, which is expressly forbidden, and he is taken out and stoned. And later on, we'll learn more about him. His name is Zelophehad, and he has only daughters. So later on in the Torah, in another section, the daughters of Zelophehad will come before Moses with a novel interpretation of the law. And so we'll get to them at another time. And the Parsha closes out with a command to put techelet, a fringe of blue on our tzitzit. And so it is a reminder to observe the mitzvot. As we read in the third paragraph of the Shema, where this comes from, that we're to look upon the tzitzit and be reminded of all of the mitzvot. And so that's this week's Parsha in a nutshell. And tomorrow, you'll be hearing more about the story of the spies from our bat mitzvah, Ella, when she gives her Devar Torah. So, I mean, just about everybody knows that this weekend is Father's Day, right? It's the day set aside that we pay homage to our fathers. And my dad, my pops, has been dead almost 10 years. And when Father's Day rolls around, I get to thinking about names, right? What the importance of names. And William Shakespeare most famously said in the play that I really dislike. Out of all of Shakespeare's works, I hate Romeo and Juliet. But he came up with the famous line, "What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet." And this is Juliet to Romeo, famously. And it's often interpreted or expressed that names really don't matter, right? If you called a rose a cucumber, it would still have the beautiful smell, and we would say that cucumbers smell sweet, right? But Juliet's telling Romeo, don't get so caught up in names. And that's true. We shouldn't always get caught up in names, but it's also a little less true. It's a little false, because we do get caught up in names. I'm from a small family. I have a brother, and when my dad came from a family of, he had 3 older siblings. He had 2 sisters and a brother. So when my father and grandfather and uncle were alive, there were 3 Judd men. Well, when my brother and I were growing up, there were 4 Judd men, my father and his brother and my brother and myself. But right now there's 3, and we are not related to any other Judds in the world. My grandfather was adopted, and just happened to be the name Judd was the family that adopted him. And so right now there are 3 Judd men. We're the last of the line. And it's possible that we're it. All right? I'm not having children, although you never know. I might adopt. My brother's not having any more children. So the fate of the family rests on Nathaniel's shoulders, the family name Judd. And since my dad's death, I've been thinking a lot about mortality and legacy. right? Because names die out, right? People forget. They say that you're immortal as long as people remember your name, and you die finally when your name is mentioned by a living person for the last time. And so I want my Father's name to be heard in the world. Not just necessarily Bob Judd, Robert Judd, whatever you call them. I don't want him known by his familiar name. But I want to know that another generation will know what he stood for. His ethics. That they will build as he might have built. That loved as he loved and parented as he parented. That his name as a gentleman will live on. So names do matter to a degree, right? I could drop a bunch of names, and the moment I say the name, you will have either a positive or a negative reaction. If I say Abraham Lincoln, freed the slaves. If I mention Jack the Ripper, you have a less than rosy remembrance of him, right? So we do remember names, but we remember not so much the person, but the legacy of that person. And so when I think about my Father's name, I think about not what he looked like or what his name really was, but who he was. How he lived wasn't necessarily a function of his name, and he really didn't care about names. But he said that the life lessons we learn from a person and maybe their reputation as being a good person is what mattered. The last name Judd, not so much. But what the Judd name stood for when it was carried by the Judd man, that's what matters. So when you hear my father's name, none of you knew my father, but for people who did know my father, they have fond memories of him as a teacher, as a friend, right? So what I think Shakespeare was saying, going back to Shakespeare and his idea of names don't matter, was that in the idea of Romeo and Juliet, love is more important than what Romeo's last name was. And so love trumps branding, right? Forget the names. And Romeo, you stand for love, and we are in love, and that's what matters. So for me, as I thought about Father's Day this week, and as I thought about my dad, the takeaway is, for me, worry less about the family name and make it more about what your family values were, what you stood for, what the people that we remember, what our fathers stood for on this day. That's what we remember. That's what's important. And that is all that's going to last in the end. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. All right, we are at Aleinu. My Siddur closed, but it is on page 282. Page 282, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shehu noteh shamayim v'yoser haaretz, u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim mimal, u'shlinatu zo, B'govei meromi, Eloheinu Eidon, Emet Malkeinu Tfilato, Kakatu, Vitorato, Viadata Hayom, Vehashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai hu Elohim, Bashamayim Mimah, V'Haaretz, Mitachat Einod. On page 285, let's read together. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287. V'nehemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz vayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. This week we observe the following yahrzeits: Harold L. Herbert, husband of Alice; Al Elderman, relative of Ida Strauss; Evelyn Firestein, Steve Firestein's mother; Sidney Fellenton, David Fellenton's mother; Louis Michelson, husband to Esther, father of Shirley Michelson Bro Davis; Harry Moel, son of Abe, and he was married to Ruth; Dr. Jacob Weinberger, Richard's father; Louis Cohen, David and Billy Glick's uncle; Evelyn Friedlander, friend of Robert Davis; Ben Kalman, Sharon Weeds' father; Stanley S. Gold, husband of Matilda; Rose Maces, Alice Herbert's aunt; Gertrude Rose, Barrett Skoll's relative; Isabel Strauss Silverman, Harold Strauss's relative. May their souls be bound up with the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace. Page 294, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divrach Hirute, Ve'amlik Malchute, B'chayecho, U'v'yomecho, U'v'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Vizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah B'vorach Le'olam V'lomei Maya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithador V'yitalev V'yithalal Shmei D'Kudusha B'richu Le'elam Inkol Birchata V'shirata Tush B'chata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. As it is Pride Month, and all during Pride Month, I've been reading readings or blessings, and this week we have a coming out prayer for LGBTQ people and those who love them. And it was written by Yoel H. Kahn in 1989. O God of truth and justice, the evasions and deceits we practice upon others and ourselves are many. We long only to speak out and to hear the truth, yet time and again, from fear of loss or hope of gain, from dull habit or from cruel deliberation, we speak half-truths, we twist facts, we are silent when others lie, and we lie to ourselves. Whether we are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning, family or friends, we sometimes feel forced to pretend to be that which we are not, to present ourselves in ways that are not truthful and sometimes without outright lies. But as we stand before you, our words and our thoughts speed to one who knows them before we utter them. We do not have to tell untruths to you, as we are often forced to do in the world. We know we cannot lie in your presence. May our worship help us to practice truth in speech and in thought before you, to ourselves and before one another. And may we finally complete our liberation so that we no longer feel the need to practice evasions and deceits. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. A couple of quick announcements. Tomorrow morning, we'll be celebrating Ella's bat mitzvah, and Rabbi Jean will be zooming in. Is that now a verb, zooming in?
I think it is.
That's going to be the new word for the OED. It's going to be the word of the year, zooming in, the words of the year. And she's going to be leading services with Ella. So tomorrow morning, I just have a brief role. It's all going to be Ella and Rabbi Jean. So tune in tomorrow for Ella's bat mitzvah. And happy bat mitzvah anniversary to Aaron. It was 2 days ago. It would have been a year for your bat mitzvah back in Brooklyn. So only blessings and good things to Aaron in Brooklyn. Let's see. Services Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and Yiddish choir on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Check your mail, your inbox for a Zoom link. Next Sunday, the 28th, is the congregational meeting at 5 p.m. And so check your inbox for an invitation with the link to the Zoom meeting. Sam, am I forgetting anything?
No, you covered everything.
Did I get everything? All right. Thanks to Sam and James for the technical support and to Judy for the vocal support this evening. And we'll close out. We're going to shake things up a little bit. So instead of closing out with Adon Olam, we're going to close out with Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu on page 322. And I'm hoping it's a traditional Ein Keloheinu tune.
It is.
All right. Page 322. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Eloheinu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Emalkeinu, Mich Moshienu. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Emalkeinu, no del Moshienu. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. And if your father has gone on to the next world, may his memory serve as a blessing and bring you comfort.